what's the point in us if I never know? If you're gonna leave, I'ma let you go. Away. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired with yesterday. Father.
What's going on, guys? It's Swimzyy here, and welcome back to another Warframe video. Now, in this video, we are going to be looking at the Incarnon Sibear, a melee weapon this time around. Now, I'm not a big fan of melee weapons, so this is just going to be a quick, brief overview, and I only have one build for you today, because the Sibear, it's not as good as you think. If you did enjoy this video, please help me out by liking, sharing, and subscribing, as everything helps me out. And without further ado, let's get into the build. So this is the Sibear, and it is not worth it in my opinion, because it costs 20,000 cryotic to actually make this weapon. That's a lot. And the Incarnon form isn't actually that good. This is the build. We are running Crushing Ruin for that hammer stance. Condition Overload, plus 80% melee damage per status type affecting the target. Primed Fury, plus 50% attack speed. Now this mod isn't maxed, so keep that in mind. You could honestly max it if you would like to. You just have to put another former onto this build. Blood Rush, plus 40% critical chance, stacks with combo multiplier. Virulent Scourge, plus 60% toxin, plus 60% status chance. Organ Shatter, plus 90% critical damage. Drifting Contact, plus 10 seconds of combo duration, plus 40% status. Weeping Wounds, plus 40% status per combo multiplier. And Prime Fever Strike, which is 2 off of being maxed, plus 135 toxin. Now altogether with these stats, the critical chance is 40%, the critical multiplier is 3.8 times, status chance 60%, doing slash and viral, for a total of 855 damage. Now let's go see Cavallero and see the choices I've chosen for this Incarnon weapon. Alright, we are at Cavallero and he evolves your Incarnon weapons. Now this weapon has 2 former. It's a pretty chill build compared to some of the others I have made. And yeah, I thought 2 former was the best amount of former for this weapon. This weapon isn't very good, so I would not recommend it. Going on to the Evolution 1, the Incarnon form. Play a solo mission with the weapon equipped and you will gain the Incarnon form. Moving on to Evolution 2, you actually have to activate this weapon's Incarnon form like 6 times. It's actually ridiculous. Actually, unlock the Incarnon form by getting to a 6 times melee combo and then heavy attacking. Once you heavy attack, the Incarnon icon will be up in the top right near your health bar. And you have around 180 seconds, give or take, to use the Incarnon form before it wears off, and you have to get to that 6 times combo again. And once you finish that challenge, you unlock these 2 choices. Master's Shatter, increases damage by 20, 10 additional combo on targets affected by cold status. Or Thane's Wrath, increased damage by 20, with armor over 450, increases damage by 40. This could be pretty useful, but I don't run armor mods with most of my Warframes except for the Warframes that don't have shield. So I'm going to be using this because I get everything out of it compared to this choice. Moving on to Evolution 3, we actually have 3 choices. We have Orokin Reach, plus 1 range. Kinetic Harmony, plus 60% heavy attack wind-up speed. Or Resolute Force, plus 6 seconds of combo duration. I chose combo duration because I want to keep that combo up at all times. And finally, Evolution 4, you have 3 choices once again. You have Mounting Avalanche. On killing an enemy with 3 cold stacks, plus 15 initial combo for 10 seconds, stacks up to 4 times. You have Absolute Valor, increases critical chance by 25%. Or Red Right Hand, on first attack with primary weapon equipped, increases critical damage multiplier by 2 times. All 3 of these could be useful, but I'm going to run Absolute Valor for that base critical chance boost. Now let's go on to the Simulacrum. Alright, so we're in the Simulacrum and I'm going to be using Mirage today for these testing. Now, I'm going to use no abilities for the first run, and then all of the abilities for the second, just so you see this weapon's total output and performance. So this is the build once again. It is pretty decent. I'm not going to say this weapon is good, so that's why there's only 2 former on this weapon. The Incarnon form, however, isn't that good. You pretty much apply like a cold proc around the area, and sometimes it affects enemies. You'll see what I'm talking about when I show this off. Now we are versing Steel Path, level 195, Corrupted Bombard Eximus for this test. As you can see, it's doing some pretty decent damage. Now I'm not going to be comboing into the Incarnon form just yet. I'm going to kill all these enemies first. As you can see, it's doing some pretty decent damage, and there's actually red crits there. Now that is helped by the 4th Incarnon choice that I chose. The Viral and Slash definitely does help out a lot, but it's still not good. The Incarnon form makes this weapon so much better, but it's still not the best Incarnon. I'm not a big fan of this weapon. There's a melee weapon I really like, which is the Incarnon Hate. Hammers are just weird, but if we heavy attack, do some decent damage, and then here comes the Incarnon form. Pretty decent overall. Hammers aren't that great of a weapon, so keep that in mind. If you would like to use a meme build, then this weapon is for you. That pulse is the Incarnon effect. It's pretty lackluster. This guy's gonna fall off the map. Oh, with me. Okay, the Incarnon is at 135 seconds. So, you get a pretty decent amount with the melee weapons. And here we go. Doing some decent damage now. Look at that. Nice red crits in there. As you slam the ground, you do like 200 damage. It's pretty lackluster. But as you swing at the enemies, you're doing decent red crit damage. This weapon is better with a handful of enemies. If you have more enemies grouped up, this weapon performs a lot better compared to single target enemies. As you can see, this guy just isn't dying. But we still have plenty of time with that Incarnon form. So this is the standard weapon. As you can see, pretty decent. Doing that cold damage as well. The cold damage doesn't really help out. It slows enemies, but it doesn't really give the best benefit. I wish the cold actually stacked up on the viral. That would make this weapon a lot better. But once we activate the Incarnon form, now we end up doing some pretty decent damage with this hammer. I rarely dislike melee weapons. I much prefer the Incarnon weapons compared to the melees, but as you can see, this hammer does have some good crowd control, some decent abilities to it. The Incarnon form is lackluster. I would not recommend this weapon, but that is for you to decide. If you like it, and if you have the spare cryotic, then obviously build it. It is up to you. There we have it, guys. That is the end of the video. I hope you all have enjoyed. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And overall, the Incarnon Sibear, I'd give it a C. It's not great, but it's not bad either. You can still do some serious damage if you run the right mods and Warframe. Let me know your thoughts on the Incarnon Sibear, and I'll catch you in the next one. It's been Swim, guys. Later.